There's a moment in life where everything shifts. Not because the world suddenly changes, but because you do. That moment is when you finally realize that no one's going to hand you the life you dream of. No one's coming to push you, fix you, or carry you forward. The truth hits hard. If you want real success, lasting change, and the kind of fulfillment that makes you proud to wake up every morning, it starts with you, not your background, not your past, not your circumstances. You, the person in the mirror. That's where it all begins. This message isn't about hype. It's about real personal transformation. It's about learning how to stop making excuses, how to take responsibility, how to set your own bar higher, and finally start living in alignment with the potential you've buried under fear and doubt. Because whether you're 20 or 60, whether you've hit rock bottom, or you're just feeling stuck, you can decide today that you're done waiting. You can choose to become your best self. It's not easy, but it's possible, and it's worth everything. Number 1, take ownership of your life. Success starts with a mindset. It's the foundation of everything you will achieve. It doesn't matter how much you dream, how much you plan, or how much you want something. If you don't believe that you can make it happen, you're already limiting yourself. You have to start with a belief in your own potential, in your own ability to rise to the occasion. That belief is the key to unlocking everything you want in life. When you believe in yourself, it changes everything. It's the fuel that keeps you going when things get tough. It's the inner strength that pushes you to take on challenges, to face adversity, and to keep moving forward, even when you want to quit. The mindset you choose will determine how far you go. Number 2, embrace your strengths and weaknesses. If you want to become your best self, you have to stop pretending to be someone you're not. Growth begins the moment you accept who you are, completely. That includes your gifts and your flaws, your talents and your struggles. A lot of people waste years trying to hide the parts of themselves they don't like. They put on a face, play a role, or compare themselves to others. But none of that leads to fulfillment. You only start building a real, meaningful life when you face the truth about yourself. When you know your strengths, you can lean into them. You can do more of what you're naturally good at, what gives you energy, what helps you move forward. That's how you build confidence, by doing the things that come naturally and expanding on them through experience. Your strengths are your tools, and every time you use them well, you sharpen them. This is how you develop skill, influence, and impact. People start noticing the way you carry yourself, the way you produce results, and it all comes from knowing what you're good at and using it. But you also need to be honest about your weaknesses. That doesn't mean you use them as excuses. It means you acknowledge them and take responsibility for working on them. Everyone has areas they struggle with. It could be discipline, communication, patience, or focus. Whatever it is, pretending it's not there doesn't help. Growth only happens when you get real about where you fall short and start putting in the work to improve. Weaknesses aren't something to be ashamed of. They're opportunities. Every weakness you face directly becomes a place where you can grow stronger. And when you improve in one of those areas, your confidence rises even more because you earned it. You didn't just rely on what came easy. You fought through what was difficult. That's the kind of progress that builds deep, lasting self-respect. There's something powerful about looking at yourself honestly and saying, this is what I'm good at, this is where I struggle, and I'm working on both. That's maturity. That's emotional strength. And people can feel it when you operate from that kind of place. You're not trying to prove yourself. You're just being real, and that makes you strong. The world doesn't need more people trying to be perfect. It needs people who are willing to be authentic. And authenticity starts with self-awareness. If you're not aware of who you are, you're going to end up living by someone else's definition of success. You'll chase things that don't matter, impress people you don't even like, and feel empty, even when you accomplish something. But when you know your own wiring, what fuels you, what drains you, what triggers you, and what brings out your best, you can start living with intention. Understanding yourself also helps you connect better with others. When you know your strengths, you know where you can contribute. When you're aware of your weaknesses, you know when to ask for help. You become a better teammate, a better leader, and a better communicator. People respect honesty. They don't expect perfection, but they value those who are real. The problem is too many people waste time trying to hide. They hide behind achievements, behind nice clothes, behind social media posts. They want to be seen a certain way, and they fear being exposed for who they really are. But that fear keeps you trapped. The truth is, no one becomes their best self while hiding. Growth requires exposure. It requires vulnerability. It means saying, here's where I'm strong, and here's what I'm working on. That's where true confidence is born. One of the best things you can do for your personal growth is to stop comparing yourself to others. Comparison is the fastest way to lose sight of your own progress. When you spend too much time looking at someone else's strengths, you forget to develop your own. When you focus on what they have, you ignore what's possible for you. Everyone has a different path. Everyone is running their own race. The only person you should be trying to be better than is the version of you from yesterday. When you fully embrace your strengths and weaknesses, something changes inside you. You stop chasing the approval of others and start chasing growth. You stop wasting energy on pretending and start putting that energy into becoming more of who you were made to be. This kind of mindset gives you peace. It gives you clarity, and it gives you power. You start showing up differently. You speak with more certainty. You walk with more purpose. You handle pressure with a clear mind because you know where you stand. And because you're honest with yourself, you're not afraid of feedback. You use it. You grow from it. You get better. The truth is, no one else can give you the power to become your best self. That responsibility is yours. And it begins with a decision to look at yourself without filters or excuses, to recognize your value, and to work on the areas that need attention. It's not about being perfect. It's about being honest, being intentional, and being consistent. Your best self is not some distant version of you that only exists after you've made it. It's someone you become, one decision at a time, by showing up, doing the work, and being real with yourself. When you embrace all of who you are, your light and your dark, you take the first real step toward meaningful transformation. That's where the real power lives. Not in perfection, but in progress. Not in what you hide, but in what you face. And once you start living from that truth, nothing can stop you from rising. Your growth, your peace, your confidence. It all begins when you say, this is who I am, and I'm committed to becoming better. But it's not enough just to say, I believe in myself. You have to prove it through your actions. When you believe you can succeed, you make the decisions and take the steps necessary to make it happen. It's easy to say you believe in your dreams, but are you backing up that belief with the hard work and effort required to bring those dreams to life? Your actions should align with your belief, and when they do, that's when success becomes inevitable. Too many people give up on their dreams because they don't believe they're capable. But the truth is, the moment you choose to believe in yourself, you give yourself the permission to pursue your dreams with everything you have. If you don't believe in yourself, you're already holding yourself back. You'll second-guess every decision, doubt every opportunity, and question your worth. But when you truly believe in your abilities, you trust that everything you need to succeed is already within you. You stop doubting and start doing. Building belief in yourself doesn't happen overnight. It's a process. You have to work on it daily. Every small step forward, every challenge you overcome, every new skill you learn, each one reinforces that belief. With every victory, no matter how small, your confidence grows, and with every setback, you learn and grow stronger. It's all part of the process. To become your best self, you must also set clear and specific goals. If you don't know where you're headed, how can you expect to get there? Setting goals gives you direction. It gives you something concrete to aim for. But goals are not just wishful thinking. They need to be realistic, measurable, and broken down into manageable steps. Setting a goal is like drawing a map to your destination. You need to know the path before you can travel it. When you set goals, be specific. Instead of saying, I want to be successful, say, I want to start my own business by the end of the year. Instead of saying, I want to get fit, say, I want to lose 20 pounds in the next 6 months by working out 3 times a week. Specific goals give you something tangible to measure your progress. You'll know exactly where you are on your journey, and that keeps you motivated. But setting goals is just the beginning. The real work starts when you take action. It's not enough to write down your goals and hope for the best. You have to take the necessary steps every day,
to bring those goals to life. This means breaking down your big goals into small, achievable tasks. When you focus on the little things, they add up over time. And that's how big success is built, one small, consistent action at a time.
This brings us to the importance of consistency. Consistency is what separates the people who achieve their goals from the people who never do. It's easy to get excited about something at first. You make a plan, you take action, and everything feels great. But when things get tough, when the excitement wears off, that's when most people quit. They stop showing up. They stop doing the work. But if you want to become your best self, you have to show up, even when it's hard. You have to commit to doing the work, day in and day out. No matter how small the task, no matter how tough it gets, consistency is what will carry you through. It's not the big bursts of effort that lead to success. It's the steady daily commitment to doing the right things that moves you forward. Consistency doesn't mean doing everything perfectly. It means doing something every day that gets you closer to your goal. It means not letting distractions or setbacks knock you off course. When you stay consistent, you build momentum. And momentum is one of the most powerful forces you can have working in your favor. It's easy to make excuses. It's easy to say, "I'm too tired," or "I'll do it tomorrow." But success doesn't come from doing things tomorrow. It comes from doing things today. Every time you put something off, you're pushing your dreams further away. But every time you make the choice to show up, you move closer to the person you want to become. As you move forward on your journey, remember that growth doesn't happen in a straight line. There will be setbacks, challenges, and obstacles along the way. But that's not the end of your journey. It's just part of the process. Growth happens when you face those challenges, learn from them, and keep going. The most successful people are not the ones who never fail. They're the ones who fail, learn from it, and keep going anyway. Your success is a reflection of your commitment to growth. Stay committed to learning, improving, and becoming better each day. And remember, growth isn't just about achieving goals. It's about becoming the person you need to be in order to handle the success you want. The more you grow, the more you're capable of achieving. And the more you achieve, the more you become your best self. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have everything figured out. But you do have to take action. You do have to keep moving forward. Success starts with you. It starts with the decisions you make every day. To take ownership of your life. To believe in yourself. To set goals. And to stay consistent. The power to create the life you want is already within you. You just have to choose to tap into it. Success is not some far-off dream. It's available to you right now, and it starts with the person you decide to become. So take ownership, take action, and keep growing. The best version of yourself is waiting for you. Number 3, set high standards for yourself. When you truly want to become your best self, you have to stop settling for average. Average habits won't bring you an exceptional life. If you look around and notice that your routine feels too comfortable, too easy, and nothing inside you is being challenged, that's a sign. It's time to raise your standards. Not for other people, not for the world, but for yourself. Because the only person you should compete with is the one you were yesterday. Most people live their lives following whatever standard was handed to them, what their friends expect, what society accepts, what their environment reinforces. But if you keep letting the outside world dictate your worth, you're never going to step into your potential. True growth starts when you say, "I expect more from myself, and I will live like it." It's not about being perfect, but it is about being intentional. Setting high standards means you refuse to waste your time on things that pull you backward. You stop saying yes to things that lower your energy. You stop making excuses. You stop blaming your circumstances. And you decide that the way you live your life is going to match the value you place on it. When you raise your standards, you change the way you think, speak, and behave. You begin to value your time differently. You look at your mornings as opportunities, not just hours to get through. You start focusing on discipline over comfort. That means getting up early when you don't feel like it. That means pushing yourself to follow through on commitments, even when no one else is watching. That means being consistent with your habits, not just when it's convenient, but because it matters. And every time you hold yourself to that higher level, you strengthen your identity. You stop needing external motivation because you're being driven by who you've chosen to become. One of the clearest signs of someone with high standards is how they treat the small things. Anyone can talk big about goals, but when someone starts showing up early, cleaning up after themselves, staying organized, sticking to their word, those are the details that tell the truth. It's in those little choices that you train yourself to act with purpose. You don't cut corners. You don't take shortcuts. You show up with excellence because it's who you are now. Not something you perform, but something you've built into your character. High standards aren't about being harsh on yourself. They're about respecting yourself. You respect your future enough not to sabotage it with lazy habits today. You respect your goals enough not to treat them like they're optional. And you respect your growth enough to make sacrifices now so you can have a better life later. You stop wasting your time on meaningless distractions, and you start choosing growth, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's not popular, even when it's hard. It's easy to look around and say, everyone else is doing it, so I guess it's okay. But following the crowd has never produced greatness. If you want more, you've got to do more. That means holding yourself accountable, even when no one else is checking in. It means being the kind of person who follows through on goals without needing reminders or applause. It means being consistent, not because it's easy, but because you know that discipline today creates freedom tomorrow. Raising your standards will sometimes feel lonely. Not everyone's going to understand. Some people might even laugh. But that's okay, because you're not living for applause. You're living for progress. You're not chasing attention. You're chasing growth. And if you stay consistent, one day those same people who doubted you will ask how you did it. And the answer will be simple. You expected more from yourself and acted like it every single day. There's something powerful that happens when you look at your life and say, I don't accept anything less than my best. That kind of decision changes your mindset. You stop treating life like it's happening to you, and you start treating it like it's being shaped by you. You stop wishing for success, and you start creating the habits that lead to it. You stop playing small to fit in, and you start rising up to stand out, not because you want attention, but because you know what you're capable of. You don't become your best self by chance. You become your best self through choice. And one of the most important choices you'll ever make is the standard you set for your life. It's the difference between living by default or living by design. When you start setting high expectations for your thoughts, your effort, your discipline, your relationships, your health, your time, you raise everything else along with it. And over time, that compound effect of higher standards builds a life you're proud of. People will treat you how you treat yourself. If you hold yourself to a low standard, you'll attract low-quality habits, environments, and even relationships. But when you hold yourself to a higher level, the world starts meeting you there. The right people show up. The right doors open. The right opportunities find their way to you. Not by luck, but because you prepared for them. So today, take a good, honest look at your life. Ask yourself if your actions reflect your goals. Ask yourself if your habits reflect your potential. Ask yourself if your daily behavior reflects the kind of person you want to be known for. And if the answer is no, don't beat yourself up. Just raise your standards and start again. Because every day is a new chance to choose better. Every moment is a fresh opportunity to walk in alignment with the person you know you can become. It's not about making one big change overnight. It's about consistently showing up with purpose, even in the small things. And when you live like that, you start becoming the kind of person others respect. But more importantly, you become someone you can respect. When you set high standards for yourself and stick to them, life rewards you in ways you could never imagine. Not just with money or status, but with self-respect, peace of mind, real confidence, and a deep sense of fulfillment that can only come from knowing you gave your best. Number 4, take consistent action. If there's one thing that separates people who dream from people who live their dreams, it's the ability to show up and take action, even when it's not exciting, even when no one's clapping, and especially when results are slow. Nothing changes until you move. You can have the best plans in the world, but if you don't act on them, they're just ideas. It's the daily choices, the daily effort, the daily grind. That's where transformation lives. The truth is, most people don't fail
because they lack potential. They fail because they stop showing up. They quit too early, or they only take action when they feel motivated. But success doesn't wait on your feelings. Success follows discipline. You don't need to feel like it. You just need to decide that it matters enough to do it anyway. And the good news is, once you train yourself to take consistent action, you stop depending on motivation and start building momentum. Every day is a chance to take one more step. You don't have to leap, you just have to move. Wake up a little earlier. Stay focused a little longer. Say no to something that wastes your time. Say yes to something that stretches you. Read a chapter. Send the email. Go to the gym. Pick up the phone. Whatever the next right step is, do it. You don't have to do everything at once. You just have to keep showing up. Most people make the mistake of waiting for perfect timing. They say, I'll start when I feel ready, or when life slows down, I'll get to it. But the truth is, there's never a perfect time. The perfect time is the moment you stop making excuses. The minute you start doing the thing you know you should be doing. That's when your life begins to change. Action creates clarity. The more you move, the more you learn. And the more you learn, the more confident you become. You don't need big wins every day. You just need progress. Progress is what builds belief. The moment you start seeing small improvements, your mindset shifts. You start trusting yourself. You stop doubting your ability to follow through. That's the real victory. Not some huge overnight success story, but becoming the kind of person who takes action when it counts. Every time you do the thing you didn't feel like doing, you grow, you build character, you build strength. Taking consistent action also means doing the hard stuff. When it's not popular, it's easy to post a goal online. It's easy to talk about plans. What's hard is staying disciplined when no one's looking. What's hard is putting in the work when you're tired. What's hard is saying no to distractions. Choosing focus over comfort and staying locked in when it feels like nothing's changing. But that's where real growth happens. That's where self-respect is earned. Not in the easy days, but in the hard ones. Every time you take action, even the smallest step forward, you're telling your future that it matters. You're showing yourself that your goals aren't just wishes. They're real, and you're willing to back them up with effort. Over time, those small steps add up. That extra hour of studying turns into a new skill. That walk turns into weight loss. That decision to invest in yourself turns into a brand new life. But none of it happens if you stop. Consistency is the bridge between goals and results. Sometimes people say they're waiting for inspiration, but inspiration is not what starts the fire. Discipline is. You don't wait for the fire. You light the match. You start with one task. You stay with it. Then you do it again tomorrow.
Day by day, you start building something that lasts. And before you know it, you're not the same person anymore. You're more focused. You're more confident. You've got direction. You've got results. All because you decided to take action, even when it wasn't easy. People will look at your results one day and say you're lucky, but you'll know better. You'll know it came from consistency, from showing up when no one else would, from taking action day after day, even when no one noticed. You'll know it came from the boring days, the quiet nights, the moments when you wanted to quit but didn't. That's where real success is born. So if you're tired of being stuck, tired of feeling like you're not moving, there's one thing you need to do right now. Act. Don't wait for the mood. Don't wait for someone else to push you. You don't need perfect timing. You need a decision. You need action. Because the person you want to become isn't found in your thoughts. That person is built by your actions. Success isn't complicated. It's just not easy. But if you can master the simple principle of showing up, taking action, and doing it over and over again, you will change your life. And not in some distant future, but now, right here. One step at a time. If you've listened this far, then something inside you knows it's time. Time to stop waiting. Time to stop putting it off. Time to stop living halfway and start becoming the person you were meant to be. Because deep down, you already know this. You were not born to stay stuck. You were born to grow, to rise, to become. And the best version of you isn't out of reach. It's waiting on the other side of your decisions, your effort, your consistency. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need everything figured out. You just need to start owning your life, accepting yourself fully, raising your standards, taking daily action, and staying committed, even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard. That's where the real difference is made. Not in the loud moments, but in the quiet ones. Not in what you say you'll do, but in what you actually do, when no one's watching. Success doesn't start with luck. It doesn't come by accident. It begins the moment you stop blaming and start building. It begins when you choose to grow, even when it's uncomfortable. It begins when you realize that nobody else is coming to do it for you. This is your life. This is your shot, and you only get one. So don't just be inspired, be transformed. Make this the day you draw the line. Make this the season you stop playing small. Don't live your whole life wondering what could have been if you had only started. Start now. Build now. Believe now. Because success starts with you. And if you keep showing up, keep growing, and keep moving forward, there's no limit to what your life can become.